All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another episode of How It's Now Conversations. Woo! Today it's just Jamison and Guada.
Hello.
We're gonna be, we're going to be. So as you can see, Guada is even more pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby boy.
So when are you due? Should we say?
Feb. I'm due in Feb.
June,
February.
Feb. Yep. And it's can I say the gender?
It's a boy.
It's a boy. It's a boy. Yep.
That's right.
Yep. All right.
Baby boy.
Well, we're gonna tackle some questions around the topic of relationship,
Ooh.
romantic relationship.
Ooh.
Okay. Christian romantic relationship. Yeah. Yeah. And who better to ask than this married couple, Jamison and Guada?
That's us.
Yeah.
That's them. Yeah, so I reckon that this is going to be very useful for people that are single, because I think right now in this time I hear a lot of talk about how because everyone is so just on their phone and online dating apps, and how everything is kind of like microwave, everything is just quick.
Yeah.
There's no chance for people to meet and have connection, especially romantic connection, after school. You know what I mean? And as a single person, I felt that. So we're just going to get you guys to help people with that.
Can I ask a question first?
Yeah.
Why us? Why did you want to ask us?
I wanted to ask you guys because you guys are for I don't know if I can say it. I would say you guys have experience.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. We've been married now for almost 7 years.
Been
Ah.
together for almost
Almost 10?
almost 10.
Almost.
Yeah.
Well, we started like dating-ish, I think, or after like around 2015, 2014.
Yeah.
And then got engaged when? It was
6
like
months after.
6 months after. I
Yeah.
wanted to put a ring on it straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Was she your first?
Well, look, I'd say puppy dog relationships. So I never had anything
Serious.
serious, yeah. So Guada was the first person that I've been that's with like over 2 months at least, I'd say. Because like everything else was just like high school, crushes and
Yeah.
nothing real or authentic.
Yeah.
There was no proper commitment,
Yeah.
But yeah, Guada was like the first person where we've actually like locked in and we're like, you know what, we're serious about this. Well, that's how I felt, because she's been in other relationships prior,
Yep.
long-term relationships, whereas I haven't. So yeah, it was we came from
There you
different
go.
backgrounds in that.
Yeah. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why.
That's why. Oh, okay.
See?
Not because we were the nearest person to ask, or
Nah. See, it's because I had a one and done and someone that did not have a one and done.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. So, I guess to get this started is the question: is there the one? We'll start with Guada.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Why me?
Is there the one? So, from your perspective, there was a lot of you weren't a one and done. So,
Yeah.
what? Why?
I think for a while, even when I was with Jamison, I actually did not believe that there was the one. Like when people say, "Oh, you're my soulmate," I actually didn't think that like there was actually that just one person for you, because I felt like I could connect with anyone. But obviously that mindset changed as mine and Jamison's relationship got deeper. I found myself like thinking about my past relationships to see whether like it would ever work out like between me and them. But I never got to see like an end or a future with them. But I saw that with Jamison. Like I saw myself growing with him. I saw myself, I see the better version of myself when I'm with him. So I was like, there is the right people. Right person. Sorry, thank you. I'm ESL. He knows what I mean.
That's why I said it, because I know. I don't
There is a right person for your life. God has the right man or woman, and they'll come at the right time. And he came at the right time, which was God's perfect timing. So it was God completely changed my mind about that. Just like how Eve was made for Adam. It could have been like, I don't know, maybe like her name could have been Maria, but it was Eve. So
Adam and Maria.
I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah. What do you think, Jamison? You agree?
Well, I do believe that God has the right one.
One.
Yes, the right one for you.
Okay.
Of course, like in the sense of, let's say, Guada was destined to be, the right one for me in a season. Let's say, God forbid, like, she passed away. I do believe that God will also have another right one, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it's not like, see, all those people were the right people to lead her to the right one, if that makes sense. That's pretty crazy, right? But all of those relationships that she's had in the past led up to where she needed to be. So I believe that God has preordained a person for you, but that doesn't necessarily mean like that's it. That's like the only person, if ever, because I don't know what's the future lies ahead. I could pass away, for example, and then I believe that God would also have a person to take care of Guada then. But in saying like, is Guada the one for me? Then yes, that's what I believe.
Right. So say, just to challenge that, the one idea, say if you got desperate and you married one of the puppy dog relationships, and you never met Guada, what would have happened then?
Well, I believe then that would have just been a season where... Wait, are we talking about in the context of I have a relationship with God, or is this me just with no connection with God?
Oh, even both. Like, what do you do then if, like, would God say that this person's not right even when you are married with them? Or, there's, I guess, both. But what I was asking was, what would that mean for Guada if, say, from her perspective, or from her story, you were the one, but you went this way and you got married with someone else. So say, like, for example, with me, if I'm single and you're saying that there is a one, how do I know that the one that is out there will not just do their own thing?
Well, if it was predestined from God, then God has a way for it to actually happen. And if that person that you're with isn't the right one, then God will also have a way to navigate through that relationship, whether he will tell you this isn't the person you are to be with, whether it is through, any other way, for example, where there would be some sort of split for you to be able to get to the right person. If God has a purpose for you, he's got your life written out already, then he's already written out a way for you to get to that right person. That's what I believe, at least.
Yeah.
Do you think then there are people that are Christian that are in wrong marriages?
I'd say, people can be, like, because anyone can identify as a Christian. But whether or not they're actually in tune with God, listening to God, and of course obeying God, I think that's a different story. Because it's like, why are you in that relationship in the first place? Is it to fulfill a need? Is it to fulfill, lust even? then I'd say yes, you can be in the wrong relationship. You could be chasing after guys or chasing after girls for all the wrong reasons, when actually you should be chasing God, and God will be the one to direct you to the one He has set for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you reckon? Yeah, I've got something to say.
Yeah. It just reminded me of what like Pastor Chris told me a long time ago, when she wasn't married to this guy. She was just in a relationship with him. She was in a relationship with this guy in the Philippines before she left Australia, and she was sharing to me about like she really loved this guy. She was telling God, like, I think this guy is the one, like I want to marry him. But God said to break off the relationship. So, and she's like, but I don't want to, God, I don't want to. And but because she had to leave for Australia during that time, I think like she got to spend more time with God and like more away from him, and she realized that God was right. And so she broke off the relationship, and a couple of years after that she met the one for her, which was Pastor Larry.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're really in tune with God, he will lead you to the right person.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like you really love this guy, you want to marry this guy. She just listened to the voice of God, and she met the love of her life.
Yeah.
Which is it's an awesome testimony.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Something that Pastor Paul told me to do was to pray for the one, that that woman that God's prepared before the foundations of the world. Pray for her because she needs help, right? And she is looking for someone like me.
Yeah.
Someone.
That's right.
Looking for me.
That's right.
And yeah. So then I think then there is also a responsibility for us to really be in union with God. So
Yeah.
Whilever we are just going with the flow, I think we can never walk in God's destiny. But yeah, I do agree. There is the one.
Yeah, that thing you just said, so about there's a person who is longing for someone just like you. That's the same sensation that I had when I first met Guada. Like, even though I came across all these other like kind of puppy dog relationships, like I feel like deep down there was this longing for a specific person. And I've never felt that sensation until I met Guada.
Right.
It's like everything that I was looking for, whether that was subconsciously or consciously, I found meeting Guada.
Yeah.
Like, even just from a superficial perspective, it's like appearances wise, the way she dressed, I was like, okay. I was like, that already took my attention. But then even just getting to know her at a soul level, that was a whole nother level of connection.
Yeah.
As far as like culture goes, as far as, humor goes, personality, compliments. Like, there was this search for that person pretty much for my entire life. Like, when I say like entire life, I'm talking like I'm 50 years old, but you know what I mean? Like, I was looking for that, and then I just met her, and I felt that was an instant connection at that point of contact. Like, when I first met her. It is very corny and it's very cheesy, but I did feel that sense of love at first sight.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
She didn't for me, definitely not.
Yeah.
She definitely not.
So then, that was going to be my next question. So how do you recognize that right person? So I guess Guada. Let's go with Guada. You didn't have love at first sight.
She didn't have that.
I didn't
with me.
have love at first sight. First of all, I wasn't Christian when I first met Jamison.
And I was just becoming.
He was just becoming Christian.
Like,
yeah. So then that would be another question. Like, how did you know she was the one when, like, she wasn't even Christian? You know what I mean? And she didn't have there was no indication that she was going where you're going as a Christian. But Guada, how do you find the one?
How do you find the right?
Yeah. How do you know?
How do you know the right
How
one?
do you know?
Okay, so like I said, I wasn't Christian when I first met him.
Nice.
Sorry about that, guys. That was my watch. I felt that he was actually, I think after a bit of time of knowing and speaking to Jamison, I did feel like he was the right person. But in my mind, I felt like it was the wrong time because I was I just got out of a relationship, and I didn't want him to go through like what I'm going through at the moment. Like, I didn't want him to like feel like he was a rebound. So I remember telling you that.
Yeah.
It wasn't, yeah. I wanted to push him away because I felt like he was the right person at that time.
But you
But-
were also afraid to commit to that.
I was,
because
yeah,
you
I
went
was
through a
afraid
lot.
of commitment because like I've been hurt in the past, in my past relationship, like as far as cheating goes, you know, all that I've been hurt. So that's why, I just wanted to have fun at that time, and I wanted to see if he would wait for me.
She put me to the test.
I put him to the test. I did.
Wow.
And he passed the test. Good job. I'm kidding. But yeah, it was, I honestly, even though I've only known him for a short time, we had an instant connection, which I didn't have with anyone. Like, it's very, very rare when you connect with someone in that level so quick, so fast.
So what does that feel like? How do you how would you describe that for someone?
Man, it's just supernatural, to be honest. I think at that point, God was already working within me to will and to do. I couldn't explain that. I had my relationship with God was still very, very fresh, so I didn't understand scripture. Yeah, all I knew was that I could talk to God and He speaks back, and that He speaks to my heart. And already then, I just had this. There was this drive to say, "Do not let this one go. Do not let this one go." That's why. So she lived in a different state to me. So
Yeah.
there was something in my heart that was like, no, you have to pursue. You have to be with her. And I
Yeah.
couldn't shake it off.
Right.
Because I could have just easily been like, you know what, she lives, it's a 2-hour flight away.
Too much work.
Too much work, you know. How we gonna? I don't have the patience for a long distance relationship, no. But there was just this drive I couldn't shake away from. It was just within my own heart that said you have to be with her.
Right.
And I was like, okay. That's when I started coming to God more, because it's like, God, I've fallen in love with this person. I shared about it in different podcasts. I'm like, can you help me? You need to help me. Like, there were times where the day when I first flew to Adelaide, I remember I experienced a miracle already, because that entire night I didn't sleep. I just kept on crying and praying, God, I need to see her. I need to see her. I literally cried till about 5 a.m. in the morning. And then at that time, my dad, he knocks on the door out of nowhere. He's like, hey, son, I don't know if you saw, but there was some flight tickets to Adelaide, and they've just got a massive discount. Like, you want me to buy them for you? I'm like, oh, yes, of course. You know, so I was like, I remember that entire night, I just could not sleep. I could not shake it off. I had to see her. And all I did was pray the whole night.
Wow.
And then God just made a way. He said, yep. He spoke through my dad. My dad, he decided to buy me tickets. And then off I went to go pursue her. But it was just like this real strong sensation. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's only described as love. It's if I can
This is
can
like
describe it.
in a month of like meeting each other and knowing each other, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when it felt like we've known each other for such a short
Yeah.
time, but it felt like we've known each other for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like we've been friends, or like, you know, we've been together for
Yeah.
like 10 years. It felt, that connection felt like that with him. So yeah, that was all in like a month's time. No, I didn't remember, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, which was crazy. Like you don't often, like you feel that with some friends,
Yeah.
but when you like your significant others, it's like, it's so hard to explain, because it's like,
there's no other way to explain
Yeah.
it except that God had His hand on it.
yeah, definitely.
And it seemed
And
like
it-
He was trying to make it come together.
Yeah. This was during the time where I was really searching for help as well.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get out of my old lifestyle, and I didn't want to like be in this continuous loop. And I was just, I believed in God, but I wasn't pursuing a relationship with God at that time. Because I had a bad experience with leadership. And yeah, during that time I was just, because I used to write prayer journals, and I remember like writing down, asking God to take me out of this loop that I'm in. Like I felt like I'm in a continuously, I get into like a bad relationship, and then I have like
Bad
a-
cycle.
yeah, and then have a relapse and going back into like, you know, drugs, alcohol, blah blah blah. Yeah, it was definitely God ordained.
An answered prayer.
Answered prayer for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So then, wow. So then, in your before you were married, did you ever like get to a point where you were questioning whether or not Guada's the one or whether or not
No.
Jamison? Right.
It was just like done deal.
Right.
Like, because I can't see a future without Guada. It's almost impossible. Like, I can, if I force it, maybe, you know, I can picture her passing away, but it's a very difficult thing to
Right.
picture. Very difficult. Like, yeah. I know that's pretty extreme, but, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, in terms of questioning, it's like, nah, man, like, I really believe that Guada was the right person who was sent from God for me.
Yeah.
Right. And you feel the same?
I feel the same.
Really?
Yeah.
So there was never a moment where you were like Jamison offended you or Guada offended you that much where you were like, I don't know.
No.
Even though we'd get to like before we'd get to like really crazy fights.
Oh, we used to get very heated.
Pretty heated.
Thank you, Lord, for the grace.
Yeah. Even then, I just like, it's just like my response to the situation. Like, but still after that, I'm like, I love this guy. Like, there's no way I would ever be with anyone else.
Oh yeah,
Right.
like
So-
there's impulsive, you know, in our early times where it's like, you know what, we're not gonna talk, we're not gonna see each other anymore, blah blah blah. Like we're
I
done.
think I've packed my bags a couple times.
We're
to go
done,
back to
and then
Adelaide.
literally within the same day, we're back to normal.
Okay. So why did you do that? Do you think it was like a manipulation tactic or did you really
Yeah, I think
feel
it's more
like-
just a manipulation
Yeah, I think
tactic.
so.
Okay.
It's like, you know
I
what?
think women can get a bit crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's very interesting. And I think that's enough for this episode. So next episode, we're going to talk about how to develop that relationship and how to actually go out there and find the one. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about that. So I think we'll end and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
See you.
Goodbye.